Hi Flosstube, this is the YellowRoseStitcher. I'm Autumn. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, this is primarily a channel about cross stitch, but I'm a multi-crafter, so occasionally there's knitting and quilting as well. If you're a returning viewer, so thanks for coming back and seeing what I have to share. Today is October 1st, 2023. So hope your fall season is getting off. I still need to pull out my fall decorations. I've been really slow in getting things going this month. This is I try to do videos where I pop in once a week and show what I'm working on and updates. Saying if you're new here, I had a big birthday this summer, and so I decided to celebrate to start 50 new things in cross stitch. So I'm on start 39, I think. I forgot to look. Anyway, so if you like channels with lots of variety and not necessarily a lot of finishes, then hopefully you'll like what I have got to share. I know there's tons and tons of floss tubers out there, tons of people to watch. But if you do like what you see and what I have to share, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe. I put out videos once a month, so this will be the October update. And this last week was pretty pitiful in the stitching. Didn't get hardly anything done, so nothing too exciting to show. I can go ahead and get started on last Sunday. The end of September, I started Philanthropic Pumpkin from Hands On Design, and this was a piece that she came out with, can't remember if it was a couple years ago, I think. Anyway, and as far as I understand, it was a fundraiser for Special Olympics, and it won't be released ever again, is what I understand. But I was lucky enough to get online and get it. And it's got the finishing kit with it. And it's just 5 colors of DMC. But as I say, this week was super busy and watching the grandbaby and things going on at church and meetings. So I didn't get, all I got done was the center of the pumpkin, the top center. So nothing too terribly exciting for you today. Yeah, let's see, it's stitched on, I know it's antique white, I think it's 32 count, just DMC thread, so we'll see. Hopefully when I can pull this back out, I can give it some more dedicated time. It shouldn't have taken much work to get it done, but this was 2 very short stitching sessions this last week, so kind of a sad progress. So hopefully this next week I'll have more time to stitch on this week's start. And that is going to be, since it's October, getting some Halloween stitching in. And I had made in my Teresa Kogut bag. Love this fabric. It's so cute. And I'm going to be starting from her Halloween book that came out last year, and I'm going to be stitching I haven't decided, I got to decide tonight, one of these vintage cats. I just think they're absolutely adorable, but I can't decide which one I want to do. They're both, eventually I'd like to stitch both of them, and I have enough fabric to stitch both of them, which the called for fabric is 32 count Tiger's Eye, a Weeks Dye Works, so beautiful orange. And then a month ago I ordered a cone of DMC black, so each cat takes, each cat? The pattern called for 2 skeins of DMC 310, so I don't know if that's for both of them or just one of them, but either way, I'm covered, I got it. But I realized I'm gonna have to go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's in the morning and get the other DMC colors. So, but I can at least get started with the black. So, I'll be interested to see how far I can get. I think, oh my gosh, they're both so stinking cute. I think I'm gonna start with this one with the top hat. We're winking. Oh, they're both winking. Anyway, I think I'm gonna start on that one. So we'll see what kind of progress I can get this week. Cross your fingers. It'll be a better stitching week than the last couple of weeks because it has been pitiful. Pitiful, pitiful. And so to say, I haven't bought anything, so there's nothing to share there. Haven't been shopping, which is a good thing. And I'll say, other than chasing the granddaughter, Farrah, the 2-year-old, around and meetings at church, not a whole lot of goings on. I did manage to get a fully finished, a stitch piece fully finished. I've had this. This is, oh, I forgot to pull the pattern. It is a, I can't remember if it's Country Cottage Needleworks or Little House Needleworks. I think it's Little House Needleworks. I forgot. Anyway, it's the October house. I had this stitched and in my drawer of finished items for 2 or 3 years. So I finally got it fully finished this weekend. So I can put it out. I'm hoping tomorrow I can pull out my fall decorating and get this out. And as to say, this was a board. I think I got this at Michael's. There's not a sticker on the back. So, but very pleased with that. I don't have all of these stitched. I have October, December, and then July is half to 3/4 of the way done. So I need to get on the ball and get some more of these done. So I did the whole washer and magnet thing so I can switch them out all on this board each month. So, and I learned something new. If you didn't know, watching Priscilla and Chelsea, the Stitching Housewives, you know, they do the whole magnet and washer. So I had bought washers, and then I had some magnets that my son had given me at where he used to work. Something they got in, shipped in, that came with magnets they just threw away. So he brought me super strong magnets, but it wouldn't stick wouldn't magnetize to the stainless steel washers that I had bought, which I assumed stainless was magnetic. My husband says it's because it's got an alloy in it. Or anyway, so we had to go back to Lowe's yesterday and get, they're called thick fairer washers. Anyway, they stick super good. So if you've not done those before, don't buy the stainless steel washers because they're no good. Let's say I glued on the magnet in the washer and stuck it on, and as soon as I stood this thing up, this just fell right off. So anyway, happy October. Yay. And as I say, that's pretty much it for this last week. Oh, one other thing. If you've been along with me back in July and August, I finished it in August, knitting a dress for my granddaughter, and I've had it sitting. I planned on giving it to her for part of Christmas, so I had her over here a few days this last week. So one day, I changed her and tried it on. So I'll put a picture in here, as to say, and it's not a happy face. I had sent it to my husband after taking it, and he was like, she doesn't like you changing her clothes. And I was like, it wasn't the changing the clothes that was the issue. She didn't mind me trying on the dress. It was trying to get her to stay still long enough to get a picture that she got annoyed with me. And then as I was taking the picture, if you can see on the leg, there's yarn, because I haven't woven in my ends yet because I was waiting. I still need to block the dress and sew the buttons on it. So the yarn was bothering her leg. So I had to quick snap a photo and get her out of the dress before she was pulling on the yarn because it was bothering her. So, but I'm really pleased that it fits good. I'm just hoping, you know, at this stage they can grow kind of quickly. So hopefully come December, it'll still fit her and she won't have outgrown it. But that's it. That's all I've got for you for this week. And like I say, enjoy your October. Hopefully you'll have some pleasant weather. We've still been in the 90s, so I'm hoping it'll start cooling down this week again. So anyway, that's it. We'll see you next Sunday. Happy stitching. Howdy, howdy. Happy Sunday. Let's say time to check in and pop in and show progress. Say October is proving to be an annoying month, so not getting much stitching or sewing time in this month. So crossing my fingers, maybe this next week will be more productive. So we're not going to be as busy in the evenings this week, at least as far as I know. So go in and show you what little progress I got on last week's start, which was from Teresa Koget's Hello Halloween book. And I had started Vintage Cat. I think it's number 2, is the one with the top hat. And I was hoping to get his hat completed, but needless to say, I didn't get that far. So, also I misspoke last week and said, well, partially misspoke. The called for fabric is 32 count Tiger's Eye. Yeah, by Weeks Dye Works. Saying, because by the time I got to my local needlework shop, they were out of the called for, and I am doing mine on 30 count. But, ooh, that's kind of showing through on the back. That was all the progress I got this last week, so not too terribly far, unfortunately. I'll have to, so, but I think it's going to look really neat. And I love this. I love the color of this linen. Of course, my lighting's a little off this evening. So, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous burnt orange. Love it. I'm going to say it's a mixture. I think I said last week DMC and Weeks. Is it? Where's the color chart? Yeah, DMC. Oh, and there's only one Weeks Dye Works, which I don't have, but I didn't need it to do the part that I was on, so no loss there. Like I say, this last couple of weeks has been really busy, so I haven't gotten a whole lot of stitching done. And set that aside. So this week, tonight, I'll be starting the November word play, and this is by With a Needle and Thread. Let's see if I take it out of the plastic for you. And this will be the 6th one of this series that I have worked on or started. Well, I have 5 of them done. So that's that. And I'm going to be stitching this one on 36 count vintage exemplar, which I think is a lakeside linen. So really, I think the colors will look really, really good on this. Kind of modeled. I have to say, I was a big goober this week. I've gotten so used to having to just go to the get thread for all the projects that I'm doing that I didn't even think to look at my stash before I went to the Stitch Niche. And there's 13 colors in this little pattern, which if you've stitched Brenda Gervais, she tends to have a lot of threads, even for small. A lot of colors go into her patterns. But anyway, and a lot of them use similar colors. So luckily the Stitch Niche, out of the 13, they had 4 in stock. I hit them on a low week. Their thread wall was a little slim pickings, but that's okay because I came home and pulled out my thread boxes to see what I could substitute or see for, and I decided just to, and it dawned on me, duh, I've stitched 5 of these, and I had all but one of the colors, so luckily I only bought one, or only bought 4, so I have 4 duplicates, but that's okay. And I thought, since it's October and I had this out, I'd show you October one. This was the first one I stitched out of the series. See if I can show this. Hard to hold these and show. But I stitched it, I don't remember what count. It may be 36 count. Anyway, it's on Picture This Plus Murky, which I think looks absolutely great for this October. All the little pumpkins. So, might need to refilm this with the lighting being so bad. Anyway, gonna start November tonight, see how far I can get. Fingers crossed I can get further than I've gotten on the last 2 weeks' projects. And I forgot to show last Sunday. I did manage on a Wednesday to work on a whip. And if you've been around with my videos a while, you've seen this before, because this one's kind of embarrassing. I should have had it done a long time ago, but it's out of the Craftways annual Christmas book. This was 2022's book, and the pattern is these creature comforts. I hope to stitch all of them for my granddaughter over time, but but the rabbit was stitched, but I managed to get quite a lot of the back stitching in, so I don't lack too much, and it'll be all done and I can finish it into an ornament. So that'll be cute. And I stitched this one on 28 count? No, 25 count Lugana, and I stitched it over 1. So, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend because it's got fractional stitches, which is very difficult. But I managed to get it done, so the rest of this series will not be stitched over 1. It's going to be a bit bigger, but that's okay. But oh, it's so stinking cute. So stinking cute. So, I realized I forgot to show that last Sunday. And then, the only other making that I managed, where did I put it? That I managed to get anything done on was my knitted siesta cowl. So, let's say it's not a great picture, but I'm still on the woven cable section of the scarf, and it's coming along really good. Although I messed up and I picked up, because it's a 2-row repeat, so 1 row leans to the right, 1 row leans to the left, so I've got to unpick the last row on the needle that I did, because it's going the same direction as the row below it, which is annoying. But anyway, I was to say, I've done really well though, as far as I haven't had any major mistakes up until now. But I think I measured this and I've got 12 or 13 inches. So I need to do the woven cable until it's 20 inches. So it's coming along. Try to do at least a couple of rows a day if I can. So, and it is being stitched with let's say I lost the ball band, so I don't know the color or the name of, but it's a Madeline Tosh. I do know that. So should look up next time and see if I can figure out what the name of this type of yarn is, because it's the like single ply. Anyway, so oh, I do have some acquisitions since I went into the Stitch Niche yesterday, so of course I had to get in trouble and buy stuff I don't need. I believe it was the last I watched Juliet Reflections Framing and Stitching, her YouTube channel. She does a chart of the week where she'll pull a chart, if you're not familiar, and then pull out different fabrics that she thinks will look good. And I always love her fabric choices, because she likes the darker fabrics, which I like them, but I never think to go past what's on the picture. But she had pulled out the Sewing Bird, which is a new one from Teresa Kogut, and one of the fabric choices that she showed was Doubloon, I think was the name. By Picture This Plus, was kind of a dark mottled gray. And so when I went into the Stitch Niche, this fabric was laying on the counter and it reminded me of Doubloon. And so it's a color and cotton 40 count. Cottage Stone is the name of the colorway. And I thought, ooh. So I pulled some of the blues threads to see if they would show up, and they would. So I think that's going to look really, really pretty. I say the called for fabric on on the pattern is 40 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. So anyway, so I got a piece of linen. And then also when I was at the Stitch Niche, they had a trunk show of JBW designs. So there was lots of goodies on the shelves to look at, and got me to buy, this is a series of, there's three buildings in each little booklet. So Christmas Village 1, I got that one, and it comes with, well, I can't show you without showing you, but there's charms. Some of them have charms and they're included. So Christmas Village number 2, Christmas Village number 4, and no, sorry, yeah, Christmas Village 3, sorry, and Christmas Village number 4. And they were so cute, stitched up. I don't know that I'd bought the pattern just looking at the pamphlet, but seeing them stitched up, which is usually the case. Hence the reason they do trunk shows, to sucker us in. So anyway, that's what I bought yesterday when I ran to the Stitch Niche. And that's all I got for you today, folks. So, we had an absolutely glorious Saturday yesterday here in North Texas. We had a cool front come in, and it was high of 72, beautiful, sunny, absolutely beautiful day. So had to open all the windows in the house and get some fresh air. It was wonderful. Of course, it's back up to like 82 today, and it'll be in the 80s this week, but fall is coming. Got to enjoy it. So that is all I have for you today, and we'll see you next Sunday. Have a good week. Hello, everyone. Time for a weekly check-in. Today's Monday, October 16th. So, it's a second cup of coffee kind of morning. Dragging this morning. Day late getting this check-in done. Yesterday was a rather busy full day. I'm on the chair of the missions committee at my church, and we had a gentleman in, one of the families we support. He was here for a Bible translation conference in the area, and came by and visited the church for Sunday school and shared with us. And then we took him to lunch, and then they came back to the church and had him and 2 other guests, speakers, talking on some controversial issues in Bible translation. It was a small group, but very interesting information that was shared. But by the time we got home, it was 5 o'clock, and then dinner, and just chilling out. So needless to say, I didn't got a very small start on my new start this week, but anyway, and I was all set to have Farah today, and my granddaughter, but Emmeline texted this morning that she woke up not feeling well, so she was going to stay home with Farah. So my plan is just to sit back and relax and do some stitching today, take advantage of a quiet day, and but I need to get this filmed for the weekly check-in. Excuse me. I'm not a huge coffee drinker. I usually have 1 cup in the morning, and that's it. But today I needed a second one. So we'll get to what you're really here for, cross stitching. This last week is proving to hold the pattern for October with not a whole lot of stitching. Last week my brother was in town, and he lives in Mexico, but he was back in town for work, and closing out his apartment here and doing some things, and but he got a new dog while in Mexico, and he brought the dog with him, but he needed a dog sitter for a day while he had to take care of some business elsewhere. And Nacho, poor thing, I was expecting, he's 5 months old, the dog is 5 months old, and stories from when my folks' dog sat him last time for Wade, you know, a typical puppy, very rambunctious, energetic. But I'll take a picture, and excuse the horrible chair that he's sitting in. My husband has a sentimental attachment to this chair that came out of his parents' house, and it desperately needs to be recovered. But luckily, Nacho picked it to sit in all day. He sat and sulked all day long. I mean, we tried to put his harness on him, tried to get him to go for a walk. He just looked at us and like, finally, luckily the weather was nice enough that we could open the back door, and I left the door open. So he went into the backyard and laid out there for a long time, but I say he never ate any of his food. I think he had a little bit of water in the morning, but, and I've never seen a dog so excited as to when Wade walked in the door that evening to pick him up. The dog nearly exploded. He was so excited. But sweet little thing. I say he finally warmed up and let me pet on him, and so we kind of ran around a little bit, got him moving in the backyard, and he actually leaned up against my leg while I was petting him. So sweet little thing. But that was part of Friday. So anyway, I digress. So we had to put our dog down, our 15-year-old, this summer. So it was nice to have a little puppy love for a day. But explain some of the. Anyway, I squirreled. We'll get back to stitching. So last week's start was the November wordplay by with a needle and thread. So, and I'm stitching this on 36 count vintage exemplar, which is a lakeside linen. And I say, I didn't get too terribly far. That's all I got done. But I do think these thread colors are showing up, look really good on this vintage exemplar. And it's fun when the nails match the stitching mojo. My husband was funny. He mentioned something, I think it was to Wade, about I went and got my nails done, but he didn't say anything. So last night, or Saturday night, I asked him, I said, so, what he thought of the color. And he kind of looked at me. I'm like, oh, he's trying to figure out how to answer this without getting in trouble. I think it's cool, copper. Anyway, he was like, not my favorite color. Anyway, but that was last week's progress. So on these smaller things, hopefully when I pull them out this next year, I'll just focus on them until they get done, like this one and some others of the smaller starts. And then last night's start was not my planned start. I had a much bigger piece planned, and I had ordered thread from 123Stitch, and I got that it shipped notification, and then it was a week. Anyway, we have it said it was delivered, but when I went down to the mailbox, because we have one of those cluster mailboxes, it's at the end of the block, and so I don't check my mail every day, usually about once a week. Anyway, it wasn't there, so I got to email 123Stitch and see if it was returned, because it obviously got put in the wrong slot. So plan B is, where'd I put the picture? Where'd I go? I just had it. Oh my word. Sorry about this. Hang on a second. There we go. Sorry about that. This is a Blackbird's Design Spell of the Moon. Let's see if I can. And I know this has since come out in one of their new books, the Winds of Autumn, and I have that too. But anyway, I had everything for this. Well, almost everything. It calls for Weeks Dye Works Pelican Gray, and then sampler thread Harvest Moon, which, oh, that's going to look awesome. And then it called for black coffee. Yeah, Classic Color Works black coffee. and I didn't have that, so I'm just going to use DMC 310, and I'm stitching this on 32 count Murky, excuse me. So that was the little start that I got going last night. So hopefully, since I don't have any plans now today, I can knock out quite a bit of this today and see how far I can get. And on this piece, on the other end, I have a Prairie Schooler Halloween piece. So I'm hoping I can get one more piece down here underneath from that same book. Anyway, I love Halloween. Well, I'm not a huge Halloween stitcher. I've got a few. I like more of the cutesy stuff than the morbid stuff, but I like Halloween stitching on this Murky. I think it looks great. So, but we'll see how far I can get on that and this week. And let's say, excuse the sloppiness of today. I'll just take it easy and chill out and enjoy the day and enjoy the cool fall weather that we're having. It's the first day I was able to put in my one pair of hand knit socks. It was cool enough, so say we've had the windows open and it's been fantastic. And I say, anyway, we'll see you in a week. Happy stitching, y'all. Hi, everyone. Sunday evening, October 22nd. So checking in this week on progress of stitching. As to say, thank goodness this week I got more stitching than this week than I have the other weeks this month. Nothing extra on top of cross stitch, but at least it was a decent stitching week. So last Sunday's start, if you remember, is Spell of the Moon by Blackbird, and I'm stitching it on 32 count Murky. And as to say, I got a really good, decent amount of stitching this week, so I was really happy with that. So I haven't taken it out of the hoop yet. I need to take it out and iron it, but surprised at I mean, I read the dimensions, but it didn't register when I read it last week. But it's a bit bigger than it looks in the picture. You think it's a little pin pillow, and it's a little bit bigger than that. So I'll probably still say turn it into a pillow when I get mine done. But just using did substitute at DMC 310 for the black coffee that it called for. But I love the color of this Harvest Moon on there. That's gonna look cool. So anyway, that's what I got done this week, and I was very, very, very excited. Early, well, not early. One morning, can't remember what morning it was exactly, but my doorbell rang, and I went down, and it was my neighbor. I don't know. I think I shared last week. That was a substitute start last week. It wasn't my intended planned start, but that's because I had ordered thread and it went missing. So as to say, early one morning, my neighbor rang the doorbell and they had my package of thread. Yay! So luckily, the one-time procrastination paid off, because I hadn't emailed 123 Stitch yet to see if it had been returned or anything. So last week's planned start was to be grateful, thankful, blessed with thy needle and thread. So it's another big project. So I get to start that tonight. Yay! Because I have, well, it's funny because I ordered all of the thread except for the 3 weeks dye works that I need. So I went into the Stitch Niche and was able to get one of them. They were out of the other 2. But I don't think I've got everything else. And I'm going to be stitching this on the called for, which is 36 count Wren by Picture This Plus. So got that. So that'll be, get that started this evening. And I'm hoping I don't have to change the colors. I don't know, I've seen other people stitch this online and Instagram, and sometimes the lettering is, doesn't show up real strong, and I'd like mine to show up a little bit more, so I may see how it shows up. I haven't opened the chart to see what color it is and lay it on there or anything yet, but if I get started, I may change it to something. I don't like that blended, or what do they call that, ghost stitches, where you stitch it and it kind of disappears. Well, if I'm going to do all the stitching, I want it to show up. So we'll see how these letters show up and see if I have to make some adjustments to it or not. But I say, looking forward, I say, I love this piece, that big orange house. And I say Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I love it. So this will be a piece for that. Get going. Need to do more, but so many hours. Oh, I guess I could show you some of the threads on there. See if I can hold this up, and there's definitely a talent to being able to hold these things up. Hang on your fabric the way Flosstubers do, so you can see. Let's see. It's most of the colors. Well, Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works. So I love orange. So on this side. Anyway, those are the threads. So that should be pretty. Like those. And as to say, my husband and I, Lila life update. My husband and I celebrated our anniversary this weekend. It was Friday, and yesterday we went down, or drove over to Fort Worth and went to the Fort Worth Water Gardens. And it was funny because I had a vague memory, but I wasn't sure if I'd been there as a little kid. I couldn't remember, or if it's just because I've grown up seeing so many pictures of it. But once we got down there, I realized, yeah, I don't think I've ever been down here. Anyway, it was cool. And I was to say, I'll insert some pictures if you've never been. But it sits about on, I think the sign said about 4 acres, and it's there on the south side of downtown. Really lovely area, and the weather was nice. I'll say this weekend was warm, but it wasn't. We were there before lunch, so it was pleasant and nice. And
Baby, I've been searching like everybody else. Can't say nothing different about myself. Sometimes I'm an angel and sometimes I'm cruel. And when it comes to love, I'm just another fool. Yes, I'll climb a mountain, I'm gonna swim the sea. There ain't no act of God, girl, could keep you safe from me. My arms are reaching out across this canyon. I'm asking you to be my true companion, true companion, true companion. So don't you dare and try to walk away. I got my heart set on our wedding day. I've got this vision of a girl in white. Made my decision that it's you, alright. When I take your hand, I watch my heart set sail. I'll take my trembling fingers and I'll lift up your veil. Then I'll take you home. And with wild abandon, make love to you just like a true companion. You are my true companion. I got a true companion. Oh, true companion. When the years have done irreparable harm, I can see us walking slowly arm in arm, just like that couple on the corner do. 'Cause girl, I will always be in love with you. When I look in your eyes, I still see that spark, until the shadows fall, until the room grows dark. Then when I leave this earth, I'll be with the angels standing. I'll be out there waiting for my true companion, just for my true companion, true companion, true companion.
It was funny because my right thigh kept aching this morning, and I kept thinking, what's the deal? Because I haven't done anything. Why is my leg hurting? And then we were getting up to leave the restaurant, and it finally dawned on me why my leg was sore. Because there's it's called the mountain, big concrete mountain, and the water gardens, and we climbed to the top of that. So it's like, I don't know why only one leg is sore and not both. But anyway, that was fun. But other than that, I'll say keeping the granddaughter, chasing her around, and otherwise fairly quiet. So that's the norm around here. I did mention I did get some acquisitions this week. When I went into the Stitch Niche to get the few threads that I needed for today's start, I bought some linen because they had gotten a good order in from, I think it's all Atomic Ranch, but she wrote on here Volcano, but I was pretty sure it was Atomic Ranch fabric. But I ordered fabric for these two pieces 18 months ago, and I'm still waiting. So it's like, I'm just going to get some other fabric for it, and then, because this one was supposed to be a start earlier this year that I skipped, so I don't know when I'm going to squeeze it in. This one is Spring from Lavender and Lace. I wanted to start that, and so, and I'd really like some input if you don't mind, because I bought this and now I'm not sure, but it's Eucalyptus is the name of the fabric, and like I say, I think it's Atomic Ranch, so it's a nice pale. It's showing up, I think, a little darker on the camera than it is in real life, but thinking about stitching her on this kind of soft green. So, and I held up a lot of the purples, and in this lighting it looks a little stronger than it did. So I don't know. What do you think? Should I go for it? Because the called for fabric, it says, is willow green linen by Zweigert. So even though it doesn't look like that in the picture, it looks just like, platinum or, beige, brown, tan, whatever. So anyway, that's what I'm going to start that. And the other one I bought fabric for, this one is a planned start for next month. And this is a Mirabilia, it's Cherry Blossom. And it calls for, was it A Touch of Pink by Witchelt? Yeah, Touch of Pink. So they had, this one is called Blush. So again, it's a real soft pink and not really any modeling. It's just kind of a solid. So that should work pretty good for that. Get that. I still need to finish buying some of the DMCs for these, but anyway, that was all I had for acquisitions this week. Was linen, so I can get those going, because I say I'm tired of waiting. And other than that, that's all I got for you this week, folks. So hopefully you enjoy some of the pictures. I'll have Chris pop in some pictures of our walk around the water gardens. Saying after that, we went to our favorite restaurant in Fort Worth and had lunch and got over there. And I say we started to panic because the street in front of the restaurant was blocked off, and but we were able to park in our normal little parking spot across the street, next to the building that the restaurant's in, and get in. But there was they had the street blocked off for several blocks, for I think it was called Google's on the Art, or Arts of the Google. I don't know. Anyway, it was funny because of all the times we've gone down there, because we usually go for our anniversary, we go down there to eat, and we've never run into this event, because I was like, oh, is this new? And they're like, no, this is the 20th year it's been going on. So after we ate, we went and walked down. We didn't do the whole thing, but we walked down a couple of blocks or so, and didn't buy anything, but it was fun to get out and walk around. So, yeah, let's say, I hope your week is going well, and this next week goes good for you, and I'll see you next Sunday. Have a good one. Greetings, everyone. As I say, getting a late evening on getting this filmed, so hopefully the lighting will be okay. I've got my extra light on, so hopefully the colors will show up good. Let's say checking in for this last week of October. Today's Sunday, the October 29th, and so as to say, I'll hop right into it here. As to say, well, winter showed up here in North Texas overnight last night. So say I've got my cup of hot chai tea to keep warm. Say it's been in the 40s all day, and it's now, I should say, 30 in the 39, I think, but enjoying the cold weather. I don't know, some of you that are up north, 42 is not winter, but it is for North Texas. So as I say, let's see, get started on. So last week, as you just saw, I started Grateful, Thankful, Blessed from With Thy Needle and Thread. That's the cover photo. And I say I wasn't able to get any stitching going until Tuesday of last week. So I say the stitching this month has been not great. As I say, I was mentioning, felt like it might not even be worth showing an October video because there's been so little to show. But Chris was like, what are you talking about? You've done great. I say, he's always so encouraging. So anyway, this was my progress that I got, what little bit I got done this week. And this is 36 count Ren, if I picture this plus, which is the called for fabric. And as you recall, I mentioned last week that I didn't know if I was going to stitch the called for lettering. This is the called for lettering in the pattern, which is, let me look it up, Gentle Art Shaker Harvest Basket. That's the called for, but to me it just blends into, so if you come back here, it just disappears on the fabric. It blends in too much. So I first went on Instagram and see if I could find any, where people have shared finishes of this. And I found some, not a whole lot, but pretty much no one had notes on any changes of fabric or threads that they had made, or at least the ones that I could find. And they pretty much looked like they had stitched called for. So I did some other looking around. I actually had another Brenda Gervais piece that she came out with during the pandemic, the Stay Home and Stitch little pin pillow. And I liked the color on the lettering on that was the same as this, which is Weeks Dye Works oilcloth. So that's what I ended up switching the lettering to, and I'm very happy with it. I think that say you can pull it back and you can read it, but it's not too much. So very happy with that. I started to, because this isn't a thread that's called for anywhere else or in the pattern. And at first I was gonna, or thought about stitching it with something that was one of the colors somewhere else, like on the roof is a, well, it shows up more brown there, and here it looks more, anyway, it's a Belle Soie Silk Limestone is the color. I thought about putting that in, which is kind of close, but then I decided to go with this oilcloth. But anyway, pretty happy with it. Now my next decision is I'm not sure about leaving this box, the letters around the whole picture, and I mean, it shows up fairly decent, and I think that color is parchment. Yeah, Gentle Arts Parchment. And then there's a third color, I don't know if I can, where you can see here these little stitches between the letters, and then there's some stars, this one and some others around here that are in Gentle Arts Flax. I'm pretty sure I'll leave those. And this, it depends on which end of the thread. One end of the thread was had more gold in it than the cream, so the star here shows up better. But anyway, I'm gonna rip this out and switch it, and then I don't know, the next time I pull this out next year or whenever it is, I'll have to decide about this parchment color. I don't know, but very pleased with the color substitution that I came up with for the letters. But I say, not a whole lot of exciting progress for you to look at again this week. So I'll say, do like the moon. But that's what I got done last week. As to say, and I started, it's like late in the evening here, so I'm not going to get very far on tonight's start. Hopefully, hoping November has better stitching than October, because October was just, I mean, for the most part, it usually doesn't bother me. I say, what is it? A process stitcher? You know, it's more about just the process, hence all the starts, right? And then the finishes, but you know, some days it's like, wish I just stitched faster. I feel like the world's slowest stitcher, and getting any progress on done, getting anything. It'd be nice to pull something out and just whip through it and get something done, but I say most of the time it doesn't really bother me. But pardon me, it's chilly in the house. So that was start number 42. So this week is start number 43, getting closer to the 50. And today's start is Plum Street Rack Stack. So we're gonna get into some Christmas starts here with November starting. And nice to say, that's so cute. And I have several of these. What are they called? Their Stacker series, I think is. But I thought that would be cute. And I've got a piece of 36 count Dusk by Fiber on the Whim, which is not the called for, but it's a really beautiful bluish green. I think that's going to look really, let's say, I don't have all the threads, but I have enough that I can get a good start where I need to. Let's see if I can. So those are some of the colors. So should be able to get a decent going this week, hopefully. I say I won't be watching Farah, my granddaughter, as much this week. So that should enable me to get a little more stitching time in, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I have to say, the weather turned off cold, and it's like, ooh, makes it even nicer to kick in and start doing the, like, you know, holiday Christmas stitching. So this one and my one next week, they're both a Christmas pieces, and but getting closer to the 50, counting down. Let's say, and I don't have any new acquisitions to show you, so I haven't done any shopping. But well, that's not true. I have 2 patterns on the way, but I haven't gotten them yet, so I'll have to show those to you next time. But that was, I say, last week. There wasn't a whole lot other making going on, other than I did do a little bit of knitting on my siesta cowl, which I've showed you before, and I was mad at myself because I've made it this far without any major goof ups until now, and now I've got one. So I didn't get a whole far, and I had to stop and tink back, and so I need to figure out how to fix it here on the end of a row, so hopefully, but I just love the way that woven cable stitch looks. I think it looks really cool. So I have to knit this woven cable to 20 inches, so I have another inch to go, and then it'll be just garter stitch knitting to finish the piece. So if I can figure out what I did wrong and get that fixed so it doesn't look ridiculous. I say I got a big hole here that I gotta figure out. Fingers crossed. So that's the harder part about knitting, I think, is the fixing. But that was all the making this week. Last week, should I say, not a whole terrible lot. And I say we kind of had a little bit of an active weekend. I say, if you're a baseball fan, go Rangers. Rooting on, watching the Texas Rangers in the postseason win the pennant. Yay! And then Friday was game 1 of the World Series. And our church does something called Simply Dinners, which it's basically that different people host and have, invite who they want over, and just another opportunity to kind of get to know people better and visit, because Sunday mornings aren't always the easiest time to visit. I mean, some, but anyway, this is just another opportunity to get to know people in the church. And so we had been invited to a couple's house Friday night, and the host and hostess were kind enough to turn the TV on in the background while we were eating dinner so we could keep up with the game. So say they won game 1, lost game 2 last night badly. So fingers crossed, come tomorrow night, game 2 and 3, they'll do better. I say we're not huge sports people in our house, but I do enjoy watching baseball. So, and of course, seeing the home team go to the World Series is fun. So there's been that little bit of, as I say, watching the World Series Friday and Saturday, and then my brother has been moved out of the country this summer, but he's been in town the last few weeks. He still had a place here, and he's working remotely, so he has been here doing work. And then I think I mentioned last week we had his dog, but anyway, he is closing out his apartment and putting stuff in storage, and he called late last week, wanted to know if he could spend the night last night. So of course, yeah. So he came over after getting his house or apartment emptied and cleaned, and came over, and we had dinner, and then sent him off on his way. He's got a 3-day drive ahead of him, so gave him a send off this morning as we were leaving for church. He got on the road, and but I felt sorry for him because he had movers at his place yesterday getting stuff to take to storage, and people in and out. Nacho, his dog, got out and he went to grab him and jammed one of his pinkies, and oh my gosh, it looks awful. It's swollen and all black. So hopefully with driving and he couldn't bend his pinky like this, and we kind of worried maybe he broke it, but I don't think so, because if he could do that, push it down and bend it, and it didn't hurt. He just couldn't do it on its own, so I think he just jammed it. But oh, it looked awful. So hopefully that won't it'll heal up and not give him too much grief, let's say, driving. And and then today we had on this months, so once a quarter, like the months that have a fifth Sunday, we always have a fellowship meal after worship. So we had that today, and let's just say set up and clean it, worship, and then clean up. So I say it was like 2:30, 2:45 when we got home, and Chris and I both crashed and took a nap. And then I had trouble getting up, or not getting up, but getting motivated and getting in the mood to do stuff. Let's say with the cold weather, just want to curl up on the couch and kind of chill out. So, but definitely wanted to get this filmed so Chris can maybe edit stuff together and get this out before or by the end of the month in 2 days. I'll say my last couple of videos have been late getting out, so I didn't want to put this videoing this any longer. So I think the lighting was fine though. So I think that's all I got for you. So hopefully you've had a good month, and that's going to do it for me. And we will see you in November. So happy stitching. Stay well.